Try this again, shall we? This probably needs no introduction to some of you. Some of you have no idea what this is. Others, they're like, oh, NFB28! NFB28! Zeos has found the true meaning of life in the NFB28. So, it's an Audio God product. What does that mean? That means it's Chinese. What does that mean? That means that it's legit, like the owners are Chinese, the designers are Chinese. They're proud, they love it, they sell it to their countrymen, and then they just happen to export it to Europe and the USA, you know, so that we could share in their joy. And it is fucking quality stuff. Like, as far as Chinese goes, like, Emotiva manufactures this amplifier in China. And it's cheap because they do that. When something is American made, it tends to cost like twice as much. Shit stuff. Shit doesn't make something equivalent to this. That's the thing. This thing is insane. So let's look at it. It's a DAC amp / preamp / fixed out. There you go. We're done. Hope you enjoyed it. Wallpaper available in the description, and the headphones, I'll link to those as well. And thank you for Periapt Cables and for Modhouse for giving me the Argon Mark IIIs to test this with. Thank you all. Shit, I still got to talk about this, don't I? What does your face look like? Is it a face only a mother could love? It's alright. It's alright. Power button. 4-pin balanced output. Locking. 1/4 inch output. Locking. More on that later. DAC / headphone switch, which means pre-out / headphone amp switch. Gain control. More about this later. Input select. And a volume knob. Digital. Now we travel like you do past the Spaceball ship for 4 fucking minutes because it's so fucking long. Not as long as the Stax amp though. But spin it around. And now we have the poignant reason I picked that wallpaper. Because dat ass. Audio God, dat ass. So what are we looking at? Some of this is confusing to me, and a lot of it will be confusing to you, but I get it, so we're gonna go. Power in the center. I love it. I love the symmetry of it. It should be power in the center. Just everything should be power in the center. And then everything bounces left and right, separated. OCDs work at fucking Audio God, alright? That's all I'm saying. Inputs. There are 6. Standard USB, which you could go and you could install drivers and try to deal with DSD. And this is the 38.38. This is the 28.38, not the 28.28, in case you were confused. Which means that it'll handle up to 768K DSD. And again, I'm just like, that interests me way less than the next Nendroid I'm going to buy. And I run a headphone channel. So that's input 1. If you want to deal with USB drivers, go ahead. I will not give you the rundown on how insane that is. Input 2 is a category 5 cable. Now, it's not a networked unit. You can't like plug this into the internet and have it, you know, because there's no interface for it. So I don't know what the fuck that is. And moving on from that point, there's no manual for this available. There's a user guide on Audio God's website. And I'm going to link in the description both Audio God's website, which use manual. My bad. It's a use manual. So here's the use manual. I have to breathe like that when I'm on the site. The unit has designed the analog idle input short circuit to avoid disturb between different sources as amplify. They really look. They got to be making some money. They need to hire a person. I'm not saying it has to be me, but they need to hire a native. They need to hire a native English speaker. Could even be British English. If you're in Britain right now and you got no job and you're somehow watching this video with no job, get on a plane, fly to China, and just start asking people where the factory is. Because if someone who understood context and, you know, grammar could please rewrite all of the website, that would be worth $60,000 a year. At least. You could demand $60,000 a year. So it's just... It's... well, at least it tells me how to set the digital filter settings I was not aware before. But, yeah, no, the use manual is not... RJ45 and HDMI pin definitions. So, yeah, okay, good. Oh, good. Why? Why? Where's HDMI? We don't have that. Magna Hi-Fi. Which, by the way, Magna Hi-Fi has so many add-ons, and I added all the add-ons that could... This unit, the 28.38, is $850 in Audio God plus shipping. And you got to deal with China. If you're in Europe, Magna Hi-Fi stocks this unit, and you could deal with them, and they'll touch all the VAT stuff, and 1,000 euros base, and then you could start adding things. And I made a unit that's 1,438 euros. So if you want to just go nuts and add leather seats. And that was just talking about input 2 and how I hate it and why. Input 3, fiber optic. We understand this. You know why? Because that's what we're going to use to hook this up. Because fuck everything else. Input 4, coaxial digital. It's not labeled as coaxial digital, and you may get it confused with input 5, which is the exact same connector, but input 5 has another input over here, so that's RCA inputs. Then you got input 6, which are XLRs, which are down here. Now, the outputs in the back of this, we'll get to the red button. We'll get to the red button, Stimpy. The outputs in the back of this are balanced XLRs again, standard RCA outputs again, and then these crazy little micro XLRs, which are very specifically used for outputting the DAC in some sort of format that only certain equipment can use, and it's like a raw format. Just don't touch them. Just fill these with putty and marker out the word out, and you know your lives will just, you'll feel better about yourself. This red button. Notice how it's labeled clearly on what that does. And notice how when I go to the manual, it clearly shows that this red button is to switch the outputs on this from pre-out control to fixed line out. Yeah, that's what that does. It is a very, very clicky red button. So, let's plug it in. And since I'm plugging it in fiber optic, where are you? Can I do this by feel yet? Haven't I plugged you in enough by feel? It means I don't have to deal with anything. This is how I've been using it this whole time. I've had it for a couple weeks now. Just power and fiber optic, and then my little Origin G2 sits here and feeds USB and out to fiber optic to everything. I hit play and it goes, and I turn this on, and here's an interesting little tidbit. It says Audio God 1.1. I'm not sure if that's a firmware thing or what, because this is certainly not the 1.1, it's a 28. And currently it says P and 3. And that's fine, because that's the way I had it previously set up. And that's pre-out, which it's not on pre-out mode because it looks like this. If I hit that switch, that red switch, that cool red switch, now it's a pre-out. When you do this again, that's a line out. And that's showing you the input, which is just, you get to choose between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now 3 is what we got in, 3 is fiber optic. And we're setting to the pre-outs, which nothing's back there. So I'm just gonna shut that off. Hold on. And now we're gonna switch that P to an H. So now we're on the headphone out, which is this section here. We're on high gain, input 3, and the volume's at 0, 0. Here's your volume stops at 63, right? Let's change the gain from high to low. Volume stops at 99. Okay. Oh, you notice you're hearing, you know the review of my shit, Freya, came out and I did that click, 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 click thing every time I turned it. Same thing's happening here, just much more refined and quieter. and much faster too. Hit the gain again. So we went from high to low. What happens when we hit gain now? F. To 99. Okay. S. F stands for fast, and S stands for super. And then it'll go to high, and then low, and then fast, and then super. And super only goes, I think, back to 64. Yeah, 63. So there's 4 gain settings, and there totally doesn't need to be 4 gain settings. Just saying that. Just want to get that out of my fucking mind. And wait, you just wait till we talk about this and how those gain settings come in for the use in the remote, because you can choose them, but you have to go through them, and oh my god, the dangers. So, headphone output, high gain, input 3, we're at zeros, let's plug something in. I've got a couple things here. My wonderful 660s are hooked up to my breakout box, to the 1/4-inch patch cables, which I made my headphones out of. I actually don't need the gain on high for the 2000Xs. Notice locked. I could hold this unit up from my cable now, because that's important. This is life and death stuff. Attached to a submarine, you know, that's how the navigation works. They can click it in. So we're playing, Don Quixote's playing. And I'm gonna bitch a lot about this unit, and a lot of the little things, and but fuck me, man. What? It's good. It sounds good. I just want to try and get at. You're listening to a mono microphone on a GoPro with some headphones held next to it. And a man, this is Don Quixote. This is a Migueles de Cervantes. It's literally, I downloaded the Don Quixote soundtrack, and I thought it was going to be I Am Lord Don Quixote, and it's not. It's this weird speaking thing where it's just in like a cavern, and holy fuck! The piano, the sound, and I know my headphones pretty good. So I have no issue with the way this sounds. Does it sound like it's $850 worth of headphone amp? Yes. By the way, this is a Periapt snake cable. They sent me one. It was supposed to be scented like raspberries too, and it wasn't. But yeah. Again, let me unlock this. The cable makes no difference in sound quality as far as I'm concerned. You can go with a nicer cable than your stock cables, but unless you have a really shit cable, I don't believe that like copper to silver to like Ethereum silver to silver that's been on the space shuttle and traveled into space then came back, you know, no, you're human. Get over it. Señor Castellano. I'm learning Spanish just to listen to the soundtrack. Or whatever the fuck it is. And now Weird Al Lasagna comes on. That's the sort of shit that's in my playlist. From that beautiful thing to Weird Al's Lasagna, which is from the Even Worse LP, but look how well it's recorded. It's got similar like guitar. Actually really high-end recording. His older albums were, his newest one that went platinum was shittier recordings, and it got popular, so he's probably going to over-record the shit out of his next album. Just injecting myself. Want to look inside this thing? Because I got permission from the owner, and you have to change some settings internally anyway, and nothing makes a Z review better than voiding warranties and dangerously opening lids while something's plugged into 110. By the way, this is a fingerprint motherfucking magnet. Look at that. I took it out twice. It's just covered. Okay. A little bit of heat. This thing does get a little toasty. Do not cover those vents. I had other things on it, and I made sure I didn't cover the vents, and even then, it still was like getting warm. fuck. Here's the thing about fucking Audio God. Here's the thing. When you think about something in America, and it's like, well, is it really American? Are all the components American? And no, most of it's made in China. This Chinese amp DAC, most of the components are made in Japan, Germany, and some from the USA. There's lists on the thing. We use this USA part and this German part because they're in China. So they want to go out and grab the best stuff. And the best stuff exists outside of China mostly, and they're just putting it together. And I would like to point out how many layers of things there are. We got a bass board, then this other board with the relays for the volume. All the resistors and the volume. Then you got another board on top of that that looks like it's only meant to hold these other two boards. And that's completely separated from this section and the power supply on this board, which the board is cut around this and insulated, and there's shielding around the, it's almost a tortial. I don't know what the hell that's doing, because it's like a donut. It's a donut. And we got some caps here. We got some Nova LA high audio grade power capacitor. This is filled with the most good stuff. That's what Audio God is known for. Their website is shit. Their instructions are shit. There are no instructions. There's literally some switches here for N6, for N5. You can pull those out. There's a way to mess with the digital filtering, which I have to go back to the Audio God site. Here we go. FIR 0, 1, and 2 for PCM. Push into, or pull off. What? Where? Where are you? Where is that thing? We're looking at two caps that are laying down. Good, okay. So let's see if we can find it. I thought I saw it too. Oh, here, it's up here. It's gotta be... Oh, so this? Is that what we're talking about? Now let's reset and ground. Oh, here they are, under that. There's our bridge of jumpers there. And then there... So that's how you change the filters on that. And you could choose between, and I have to hit back now because it's weird. And you could choose between fast roll-off, slow roll-off, fast roll-off minimum. Oh, that's fast and slow roll-off with linear. Then it's fast and slow roll-off with minimum. There's fast roll-off with apodizai. Oh God, I hate this shit. And a brick wall filter, which has all three pulled off. What are we on? What are we actually on? I kind of want to know now. I think we're on the brick wall filter, which is the default, which is nothing on. I don't know. Do we jump across from here? Oh God! Oh, this is just a jumper. This is literally just a jumper that they've installed here. I'm not touching with this. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. You shouldn't touch it either. Sounds great. Don't touch it. Anyway, look at this. The silver. Actually, these are not silver. These are copper. Very small, very fine. They do good work, and they use great parts. They just need someone else to explain how to use the motherfucker. And Magna Hi-Fi has done a better job of laying it out because they have someone there who speaks English, even though it's a French company or a European company at least. But you know, they should also just get in here and like, look here. This is how you set it up for the fast roll-off and everything. They tell you on their site, but no picture. So everybody basically what it comes down to is with Audio God, you're gonna get insanely high quality build. By the way, there's the TCXO clock. 100.000 megahertz. You're gonna get insanely high quality parts and amazing sound quality and lackluster support and just confusion. You buy a box of Chinese confusion. Like that button that switches the thing, that's not labeled and there's no manual. Yet it says that that option is available. So is it in here? Do I have to hold the gain down or hold pre-up? No, it's a red button. And I look in the pictures, it's not even a red fucking button in some of the pictures. It's a silver button. And you know what it says on some of the pictures on the silver fucking button? It says DSD something or other. Actually, it was on the Magna Hi-Fi one. Hold on. Actually, was it on the website for the thing alone? Yeah, I think it was here. So where the red button is a silver button, and it says DSD CTR. And I looked that up, and that has something to do with changing the DSD mode. So is that what the red button's for? Fucking no, it's not. It's for the pre-outs versus line-outs. How much power is this thing put? I honestly, it startles me how good it sounds, and at the same time, I hate every little thing about it. We're going to get the remote, by the way, because I didn't set this up on my desk here to do headphones. Again, I'll tell everyone again, I like speakers more than I like headphones, but headphones are a lot easier to review and a lot cheaper for me to buy and a lot cheaper for you people to send it in. But I love my speakers. Where was I? What was I just looking for? Shit. Was it in the specs? Yes, power. Looking for power output. So, also I want to point out that on Audio God's site, they say if you're going to use unbalanced quarter-inch headphones, don't get the NFB28, get the NFB29. If you're going for balanced, get the NFB28. So there you go. Literally them saying it themselves. So that's why I'm using balanced. This will be unbalanced because it's not wired internally to be balanced. These are the... I already said what these are. These are the Argons, the Mark III Argons. So everything's going to be balanced in this. You should buy it using balance. If you're using unbalanced, apparently buy it at 29, but power. Only for headphone balance mode. That's what we care about. 600 milliwatts at 600 ohm. That's not a little. And if we go down, 100 ohm, 3.5 watts. 300 ohm, 1.2 watts. 100 ohm, 3.5 watts. 40 ohm, 8 watts, 25 ohm, 9,500 milliwatts, which is 9.5 watts at 25 ohm, which is what I'm wearing now. These are 30 ohm headphones, which is not that hard to drive, which is why I have it on low gain. Should I accidentally put this on something not low gain, shit fucks up. And we'll get to that. In fact, we're going to switch headphones because I'm in love with those. I've always been in love with the 2000Xs, and that will remain. Let's do you, because here we're gonna test out this locking. Which, by the way, here's the Audio Quest quarter-inch adapter, because God knows I need that to be silver for this to be the best. No reason. No reason for that to be locking. Okay. Now, these are T50s, essentially. That's what the Argons are. They're my T20s. They're the T60s. I pull them all out. I love my Emotiva Basex because at 50 ohms, this puts out 8 watts a channel. At 40 ohms, this puts out 8 watts a channel. So that's still slightly more powerful. But it doesn't matter. Not that sort of slightly. So let's set the gain, not to fast, but to super. Let's put on something other than Weird Al's Lasagna. Joseph Trapanese, who did the Tron Uprising, which I've never seen in a single episode. Now, we're at 32 out of 64 on a super volume mode. And it's proper. These sound proper. Brave Little Toaster, end titles, Book of Mormon, I Am Africa.
I am Africa. I am Africa.
Book of Mormon's amazing, by the way. So even though this is not the best unit for single-ended, I don't have a problem with it. By the way, Argons. Oh my. Some dust in here, leaking through my hole. I would completely get a piece of Lexan to cover this, but I'm sure that someone in China would not sleep at night knowing that there's not a interference barrier of aluminum covering this. So I'd build that out of plexiglass or glass. Just go to a glass maker and be like, literally bring this part into a glass maker and say, could you make this out of glass? And drill these holes. Or I wouldn't even probably put holes. I'd just blue tack it down. Cover some black around the edges. I'm talking about shit I'm not buying. Anyway, back to how these sound. Stupid. I mean, we're at half volume on something that is capable of putting 8 watts to my head, so that's something. Glitch mob, that's always good. I understand people's obsession with this unit. I understand it. I fully fucking understand it. Do you need that extra little bit of add-on, though, to make it from 750 to 880? 850? Whatever. How did I use this when I first got it? I started talking about that. It wasn't with headphones. Again, speaker guy. So my living room was sort of in a transitional phase. I wasn't sure what it was yet. And it's since gotten the surgery, and it is now run entirely by a Mini DSP HD. But before that, it ran on the Freya is what caused that whole fucking... it was unsure about its identity because I put the Freya with the tubes, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I said, all right, I gotta hook this all back up. I gotta send the Freya back, or give the Freya back to the owner. So then it went to the IFI stack. It went to the IFI iCan Pro, which is a tube pre also with all those crazy switches. And it stayed on that for like 3 weeks. But then this showed up, and I'm like, all right, do I want to put it on my desk? So I'm gonna start listening to headphones on it. No, this has a remote control and pre-outs and XLRs, and my amps are XLR. So I use this. I unplugged my DAC that I was using, which was fiber optic, plugged this in, and then this was feeding my living room. And there was, in no uncertain terms, a difference. I'm just going to say a difference. Feeding my speakers, or actually at the time and currently right now, I have the KEF Q350s in there on a crazy rake angle. And I could tell you that it was not my old setup, and it was this thing controlling everything. Now on to the bad part, because that's why the remote's with it. And by the way, it doesn't come with this remote. This is the extra remote, like it's $50 extra, but then the owner ordered another extra remote. He thought it came with the little shitty remote, and he bought this one as an extra, $50 worth. That's not what happened, because let me tell you the story. It's in the unboxing, where I unboxed this. I took out this remote and went, ooh, this is really nice. Put it on the side. I proceeded to unwrap something else that was like a little circuit board. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's got a battery holder on it. Audio God sold him this, or gave him this. He only bought one remote. Gave him this, and then gave him the guts for another one of these. So a circuit board this big, and a little battery dongle thing with an infrared. So when I open this up to put the batteries in it, sure enough, it's the exact same board. So the owner now has one of these, and for when this breaks, and I don't know why remote control would ever like fail, he has the ability to take this panel off, throw the guts out, put the brand new guts in, and have it be another remote. Super weird. This remote has 5 buttons. There are 4 lights. There are 4 lights, but there are actually 5 buttons. The 5 buttons are channel up, channel down. That means input up, input down, so we can switch through all 6. That's fine. You're going to be using those a lot because there's no mute on this. So whenever I needed to, like a phone rang, I simply went change channel. Now I only had one input. If you have more than one input, that's not really going to work. So basically going off of channel 3 meant mute. Now down here at the bottom you have volume up and volume down, and indeed it will do that. Listen. But here's what happens when you hold down the button. Nothing. You have to change it with one click per number change, and that is fucking annoying. Okay. If you're just playing and you just sort of want like a little bit louder, a little bit quieter, you can get away with 3, 4, 5 button presses, you know, adjusting. I'm just adjusting. But if you want to fucking lower it, it doesn't repeat. It's just 1, Just one number. And now to the pièce de résistance. Because I was using this as a preamp, which means I had it in this mode. It wasn't line adding. I didn't hit that switch to make it and then I controlled the volume with something else. This was controlling every aspect of my speakers in the living room. Amplifiers are fucking full tilt, and I had it on low gain because I wanted to have the 100 on low gain. Putting this up to like fucking 35 was like as loud as it ever needed to go in my living room. And I would listen like that. And then I would go to put the volume up. But one time, and it only needed to happen once, I didn't hit volume up. I missed the button. And it went from L, which is low gain, to F, which is fast volume. Which, guess what F is? Guess what F at 36 is? Fucking loud! And I thought I blew my speakers up. And I'm like, of course, and now here's the thing. You can't hit this button again to fix your mistake, because now it's on super. And it affects the pre-outs. So you are fucked, buddy. So then you go again, and you're still on high, which is better than super, and then you're back to low. And you can't disable that, I don't think. I mean, who knows? The manual is not even written. It's not like it's written in Chinese. The manual is not written at all. But for the pre-outs in the back, you should not have this option of fucking... Do you need all four of those? Maybe. I don't know. I don't need them. But you should certainly not, when you're using it as a pre-out, if you're using it for powered studio monitors or something, you should not be able to go, you should not be able to access fast or super. High and low, and then you adjust. Just high and low. If you go from low to high, it's a change. It's definitely a change. But from low to fast is a huge change. And then from fast to super is you've damaged something. I think when I was testing, putting it on super allowed me to play the music as loud as I wanted to as all at 11. Like 11. So if I was at 11, I could switch through this without worrying about it blowing anything up, but it would get real fucking loud. I'm just angry because when things try to break my shit, I get angry at them. By the way, nice remote. Bespoke to the audio gods. It's a real remote. It's like it needs an ability to power sleep this. If you have a remote, I should never have to touch the fucking unit. That's a rule. Can we make that a rule? Hey, internet. Hey, manufacturers. I got nearly 100,000 subs. It means I might make a difference. If you're going to make a remote, you had fucking better put a power button on it or a standby. Obviously, this is a hard power that's literally hooked up to something here with the 110. A soft sleep that makes it not be hot all night. You got to have that, and you got to have a fucking mute button. And this is bullshit. Not with 100 steps I have to fucking press the button every fucking time. That's dumb. You're dumb. Stop being dumb. You're better than this, audio god. It's like there's 5 engineers and 4 of them are brilliant and one of them is literally mentally handicapped, but they put him on because of whatever equal rights they have in China. And he had to be there, and he designed this remote control. That guy needs to just be moved over and someone else design that shit, because fuck. It's so close to being perfect. And then fuck. Now, a lot of you are not even interested in using it as a pre-out. But if you have like a tube amp, this wouldn't matter anyway, because you would simply go and hit this button, which would then make that happen, and that would full line out with probably RCAs or XLRs. And you'd have your volume control for your balanced solid state, and then you'd have a separate volume control for your tube amp, and you'd be happy. But if you're trying to push speakers with it, watch out. Watch out! Because it'll push the signal higher than full signal. Like RCA is supposed to be 2 1/4, and it'll push to like 7 or 8 volts. It's something ridiculous. It'll push it to the point of explosion. Like your amps will just go and shut off. Hopefully before things actually implode. Let's plug in these headphones now. Now that I've gotten the angry Zeos is he's done. He's done yelling. He needs to calm down. I'm gonna put this back on H for headphone. I'm gonna lower it all the way. I'm gonna plug this in. Beautiful and calm. Now these are the 150 ohm 660S. Breathe. Stare at beautiful things and breathe. And I'm running them out of my balance. If you want to know how I made this, my other channel, the Just Zeos Pantera channel, I did a whole video. It's just basically that, and I had to change the panel out to plastic and mix it. Just gives me, look, right channel, positive and negative. Left channel, positive, negative. Plus the thing, perfect. Low gain, 660s. Like the happy point's like 35 to 40 on low gain for most headphones. The only ones I took to high or full or anything that level. No. Dragon Ball Z, no. A Perfect Circle Lullaby. Here we go. Put some low end on this shit. That's 50 on low gain. Ooh. Well, 660s don't push sub bass. Let's just put it that way. But yes. I cannot say anything bad about how this sounds. How it sounds, perfect. It sounds perfect. Is it better than your yes. Is it better than the bass 6? Yeah. The noise floor is way lower. It's lower. It's perfect. The DAC outputs, even on speakers in my living room, I could tell you, because that's basically what was changing. I was using this as a DAC instead of the Geshelli Labs or the ODAC, and yes, it's better. This is really like, this is Our Land from Epic Score. Lindsey Sterling, Master of Tides. Here we go. I'm gonna switch the gain to oh god, I switched the gain to full. See, I want to go from high to low, but low's not next, full's next, and then super's after that, and then it's high gain. Okay, Mrs. Sterling, thank you. I want to mute it, so I have to just. Yeah, okay. They just need a little bit of assistance. Just Doofus Rick is working there. I have all these Ricks. They're all Ricks. And then there's Doofus Rick. He's eating his own shit in the back and designing the remote. And making it just like this confusing array of Chinesium. I think that's a material. That doesn't count. Everything about this is fucking great. I love the look and the equal. I'll clue you in. I want to, if I had to pick amps for my living room, like, and I had no option, no problem getting them. Where are they? Magna Hi-Fi sells a pair of them. I closed the tab because I didn't want to stare at it. Their Master 2Hs are monoblocks that are like 400 pounds and $4,000. Could you imagine this level of it? Because that's the thing. If this was just like the 1 amp, or even it just had an input and a volume knob and a power button, I'd have no problems with it. It's trying to do other things. It's making it get like negative marks. But imagine just a set of power amps. Just click on, make speaker go. It's what they were designed to do. So anyway, this is one of the better sounding headphone amps ever. I mean, I have the Quest Style 400i that I'm gonna throw up for review, and it's not much cheaper than this, and it doesn't sound much worse than this, and it actually does fit in a desk. This is a giant fucking. If all the controls were here, you could put it like this on your desk, and then it would fit. But since it's long ways, you sort of are screwed, and you have to basically give up this much desk. I'm talking about people who have little desks. If you don't have a little desk, you don't care, then this is all you care about. But I would not go with the long ways with the design of mine. Just saying. Okay, I'll link to this on Audio God's site, which if you're in the USA, you need to buy it from there. I will link to this on Magna Hi-Fi's site. If you're in the EU, you're in luck, because you don't have to buy it from Audio God directly, which is a process of like emailing them your PayPal info, and then they send you an invoice. It's weird. It's not like the normal way an invoice would be worked out. It's weird. But yeah, this, link some stuff. I don't know. That wallpaper is just keep looking at it and thinking everything will be fine. People keep asking me why the wallpapers, and the reason is I know my fan base and I know who I want them to be. And if you can tolerate that, then you're allowed to subscribe. If you can't tolerate that, move along.